Oh, Mason, hold on. Let me put you back. Sorry. Hello, my beautiful Sambles and Heroes. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to episode 20 of the Rosie Lastra podcast, sponsored by Jeremy's Unity Flight, LLC, where faith, evidence based healing, and holistic living take flight. This is episode 8 in the East Meets West series, a sacred space where we blend the wisdom of the soul with the power of science to help you rise, heal, and shine. I'm Rosie, your warrior queen mom, and your guide and fellow traveler, bridging the gap between grief and growth, pain and purpose, because you deserve to live with hope again. Take a breath with me and let's ascend together. Before we get started, let me introduce you to your captain in flight. I'm Rosie, a transformationally healing and confidence coach. I empower men and women to heal, transform, and elevate their lives by bridging faith, evidence based healing, and transformational travel, helping them move from grief to growth and from limitations to limitless possibilities. For years, I lived in a life grounded in logic and numbers as an accounting controller, where spreadsheets and made sense and control felt safe. But everything changed on January 9, 2015, when I received a divine dream. In that dream, God told me that my son Jeremy's presence would ignite a mission far greater than I could have ever imagined. A mission to unite humanity through faith, healing, and testimony. That dream became a spark, was the spark that launched Jeremy's Unity Flight. And that dream became true January, or September 15, 2024, when my son Jeremy unfortunately went to be with the Lord. And today it is the heartbeat behind the podcast and every healing conversation we share. So know this: you are not here by accident. You are here because healing is calling. Now let's take a flight together. Today's episode is about purpose after pressure, about what happens when life doesn't follow the plan, but meaning still rises. East meets West exists because healing is not one sided. It's not just prayer, it's not just mindset, it's not just science, and it's not just success. True healing happens when faith and evidence walk together, when lived experiences become wisdom, and pain is transformed into purpose. And today's guest is a powerful example of that truth. I'm honored to welcome Mr. DJ Finesse, world renowned DJ, author, speaker, and creative force. Many people know him for the stages, the brands, the culture, and decades of influence in entertainment. But today's conversation goes deeper than that, because behind the success is a story of pressure, perseverance, and purpose. DJ Finesse is the author of From Personal to Purpose, Finessing Life's Lessons and Turning Them into Your True Calling. This book is available hard copy and ebook on Amazon, Audible on Audible. Audiobook on Audible. And this isn't just a book, it's a lived testimony. Let me go ahead and bring DJ Finesse onto the stage. Hey Mason, how you doing, love?
What's up, Rosie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. I'm good.
Well,
Really good. Glad to
sweetheart,
be here. Yeah, glad to
I
be here.
I, I feel I feel humbled and honored to have you here, my love.
Well, the
I
feeling
feel
is
honored to
mutual.
have met you. Okay.
Feeling is mutual.
uh, Thank you. So I said a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about your story, Mason?
Sure. Mason Santos, as Rosie said, I'm proud to be 56 years of age. I'm born and raised in East Providence, Rhode Island. Grew up with my mom, my dad, older brother, and like anybody else, young kid wanting to play sports, wanting to play basketball, wanted to go to college and play basketball. Did that. Um, had lofty dreams as a youngster. Wanted to do a lot of stuff. Was very much interested in music. That came from my mom and my dad. Obviously, those Saturday mornings when you had to clean the house, right? When mom and dad stopped playing music, it's time to clean the house. Uh, Raise your hand if you can relate to that, right? Those Saturday morning cleaning sessions, right? So music was a big foundation for me. Sports was We were big in sports, and just went to high school, went to college, and the goal was to just go play college basketball and see where I would, where that would lead me. So that's like the basis of the.
Awesome, awesome. I hear you. So, Mason, before who were you before purpose became clear?
Um, just a guy that was torn between two loves, and the two loves were basketball and music. Um, Again, I was in college playing college basketball, and was torn between the culture of hip hop and which direction I wanted to go. So those are the two loves that I chased all the time, was basketball and the culture of hip hop, and the culture of hip hop won. One over my heart. So that was
I
that
hear
was
you.
I was just running around doing those two things prior to finding his purpose.
Hmm. So, what pressures or pivotal moments shaped you the most? You feel?
Um, so obviously, married and two kids. That was the big step in my life, was getting married, obviously, to my childhood sweetheart. Wrote about her in the book. I think the biggest pressure was probably when I was diagnosed with cancer. That was in 2017. That was probably like the biggest challenge I ever had to face in my life. But things kind of came easy prior to that. Worked hard and played college basketball. Worked hard and as being a DJ, and had success in both. I didn't really feel like I failed in anything. I had like really much pain in any capacity. Again, came from a great family. So I think being diagnosed would absolutely be the moment where things just totally shifted for me, and had to kind of pivot and look at things differently.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, was there a moment where life forced you to choose growth over comfort?
Um, Growth over comfort. Yeah, I would definitely think that moment, because you look at, I think, I wasn't it wasn't drug related. I wasn't eating bad food. I wasn't out there drinking and going crazy. And my cancer came through HPV. I don't know when I ever contracted HPV, but doing the research and going to Boston, like 90% of people have HPV, but they can pass it through their immune system. Mine didn't pass, so I don't know when I got it. And what I learned is that if it doesn't pass through the immune system, it starts to show up later in life as cancer cells. So mine came later in life. So to have to go through that and think that, why me? Or was this some sort of punishment for however I was living my life, right? Kind of go through those emotions, and having to kind of soften up and realize that what really matters in that moment in time, like what really is important to you, and what's the contribution you're going to leave behind. So for me, I just realized that it was much bigger than any kind of accomplishment, DJing or basketball. This was a fight that I had to fight. And um thank God I had kind of been working on myself prior to being diagnosed, and it just kind of led me to believe that this was bigger than me, and I had to fight this for those who were probably going to give up in some capacity. It wasn't just about being diagnosed, but just giving up on life in general. So if I could show them what it looked like to push through, then maybe I would give someone the inspiration to kind of keep hope alive and keep moving forward. So that was my approach through the whole thing.
God bless you, Mason.
Right?
Yeah, they did a study not that long ago where they took like the known miracles. They took like 100 known miracles and they put all their information in a database. And they found out that what all those people had in common were 10 things. And out of the 10 things, 4 of them were nutrition, the rest of it was mindset. So
Mindset.
God bless you. God bless you for having that mindset, Mason.
Thank God.
That's
I mean, I if I had not been working on myself prior to, I do not think I would have approached it that way. There's no way. There's no way.
awesome. Awesome. So now let's talk about your book and let's talk about purpose.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about purpose? What nuggets can you tell our audience that would lead them to go from pain to purpose like I have and you have?
Yeah, I think that, most people want to know that they've done something, or what are they leaving behind when it's all said and done, right? I think that we all have interests, we all have things that we want to accomplish in our life. We want to think that we've added some value to the lives of other people or society. And what I found is that oftentimes people don't find their purpose, and it could be because they're not following it, or they've been talked out of it by other people, or a limiting belief in themselves that they think they can't do it, and so they just kind of go with the status quo and they don't really go after it. But I've never been that person. So my thing is I'd rather try and fail than to not try at all. So in writing the book is not a tell all about DJ Finesse. It's really about just that, like how to overcome adversity, how to push through pain, and just realizing that at the end of the pain is the prize, and you got to go through it, and there's no shortcuts, and what that looks like. But also too, like in the book, showing some shortcomings, right, with things where it didn't work out the way I thought, and then how do you move on from that, right? Does that Do you get stagnant? Do you get stuck there? Do you kind of push through? So the book is really like a workbook about how to push through adversity and come out on the other side. But also too, like it's not easy, and the book's not meant to tell you that it's going to be easy. It's to say that you can get through it, but you got to go through it. Whatever it is you're going through, you just got to go through it.
I hear you. So, how did your experience rehash your mindset, Mason?
Um, I think it gave me, well, I think one, it was structure, because I had a system that I followed to write the book. I followed that for 6 months, and I really felt like it was a chance for me to kind of dig deep into my psyche, into what I wanted to convey to the world, to be a lot more humble, and that it wasn't about me, and that if one person read this book and it changed their lives and for the better, then it was worth writing the book. And I just knew that it had to be something that was relatable to the masses, and I didn't think that Finesse was relatable. Like, Finesse is a guy that did some things that a lot of DJs could never do, and maybe haven't done. I felt like my trials and tribulations were much more relatable than it was talking about DJ Finesse. So you don't really get much of the finesse at all in that book. It's really about life's lessons and how I navigate them. And again, everyone's different, right? So, but if there's a lesson in there, if you can take what I've done and apply it to your life, and maybe take a little nugget here and there, and it helps you to kind of push through, then it was definitely worth every page.
Well, we got a few comments on Mason. We got people from Strong Island. God bless you, Mason. Relate, value, amen. A lot of heart emojis, resilient, and 100. uh, where did faith, intuition, and alignment show up in your journey, Mason? Where do you think it showed up?
Um, yeah, so I think the best way to talk about faith is just to kind of condense. There's a small story in the book about how I feel God showed up for me. And I always tell people, look, I didn't hear a voice. It wasn't some miraculous thing that happened for me. It was a feeling of, I had come home, and I'll make it short, because I don't want to give it all away, because people can read the book. But um, my wife and I had come home from, it was 3 months after being diagnosed and going through chemo and radiation. And I had to go back and get what's called a PET scan. And that was to see if there's any more C word in my in the body. And this was on a Friday. and they were supposed to call me on Monday. And we got home, and my wife said she needed to run some errands. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna sit on the couch, watch some TV. And I hadn't DJ'd for about, it's probably been about literally about 6 months. I hadn't touched anything. It was all disassembled. And she ran out and was running some errands, and I just got this feeling, like I got this amazing feeling of like strength and peace and calmness. And I was like, oh my God. Like I feel I didn't eat anything. I'm like, I feel amazing right now. And I just got up and I ran to my DJ room, and it was all disassembled. I just started putting things together. I'm like, I want to DJ right now. I need to hear some music. And I just put it together, and I'm blasting this. I mean, it's like like I'm doing a wedding. I'm dancing, and I hadn't done this, and I'm just sweating. And my wife comes in, and she kind of startled me because I didn't hear her come through the door, and she's in the doorway, and she has like this blank look over her face, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, well, the hospital tried to call you. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, they tried to call your phone, but you didn't answer. And of course, I couldn't hear the phone. I'm like, we just left there 2 hours ago. She's like, well, yeah, they they wanted to call you and tell you that you don't have the C word. And I was like, something like, well, they're supposed to call me on Monday. And I'm like, that, and I said to myself, that feeling that I felt, like that was God. That's all I can say. That was God saying, okay, you've gone through enough, you've pushed through. It's time for you to start feeling better and to start telling your story in hopes that you can save someone from despair and give someone some hope. And I really felt like I'm like, oh my God, like that's real. And that's just my story. That was my experience with and after that, I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm like, I hear you, G. Okay, it's time to go. And I just been running, and I have a mantra now. I say, value is the true currency. When all I want to do is how do I provide value? So all I look for is ways to provide value in any arena, and that's been my mantra ever since that moment.
God bless you so much. And it's wild how God works, because yesterday I had a conversation with a young lady who was going through depression. And I mentioned to her that sometimes in life, what happens to us is not about us.
Nah,
Sometimes it's about the lives we're getting ready to bless. Because, Mason, if you hadn't gone through that journey, you wouldn't be able to bless all the lives you're getting ready to bless, because you
right.
wouldn't have experienced it. So,
Yeah,
God bless you.
thank
When you
you.
live, and here's what's wild too, when you live from purpose, our nervous system stabilizes,
Hmm.
our decisions align, and our
Hmm.
impact multiplies. And that's from science, baby.
That's science.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not your spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, guys, if you're listening right now and you're in a season of uncertainty, your storm may look different, but your need for direction, meaning, and hope is universal. Pressure doesn't mean punishment. Sometimes it means preparation.
Mm.
Okay. And that, Mason, I think that that's what God was doing with you, my love.
I think
Providing
so.
value is providing value is a true currency, which is what your book's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes the value you provide is the wisdom earned from what you survived. So God bless you for all that.
Thank you.
Here's a few takeaways you can apply today. Can you give them some takeaways?
Um, yeah, I think that you mentioned it in the beginning as far as mindset, right? And I always tell people when I'm coaching people or doing speaking engagements that we become what we think about, right? You become what you think about most. So words have power. So be careful what you say and what you say to yourself and what you say about yourself or other people, because they do have power. And the universe speaks in that kind of language. So I do my best. I'm not perfect, but I do my best to be as positive in every situation as possible. It's not always easy, but I feel like the world, especially self-talk, right? Like the world is going to beat us up enough. You don't need to beat yourself up, right? Like the world's going to do that enough in different instances. Like you don't need to beat yourself up. Um, so that's one thing I live by. That what we think about, most we become. And I said it before, like the only way through is through, right? There just are no shortcuts. Like you got to go through it. But I do believe at the end of the pain is the prize. But you cannot get to the prize without the pain. And you're going to be tested as to how bad you want something. That's the test. How bad do you want it? and what are you willing to go through to get it, and then what's the value that you can bring to other people by going through it.
Wow, 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 Mason. Uh, our listeners are going 100. Great smile, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
won't he do it? So, so cool. So proud over your blessings. Shout it out from the mountaintops.
Yes, God
What
is
a
good.
blessing. Thank you for sharing your incredible story, Mason. So factual.
Thank you.
Okay, that's just some of them.
Thank you to
So,
all your viewers. Thank you. Thank you.
okay. So, Mason, let's have a little fun. You ready for a little bit of fun?
Sure.
Okay.
Do it.
One habit that keeps you grounded.
Prayer.
Okay.
Pray my
A
prayers.
song that fuels your purpose.
Um, a song that fuels my purpose. Sounds of Blackness.
Okay. If you had to say purpose in one sentence, what would it be?
Value.
Okay. And what advice would you give to your younger version of yourself?
I would say, I'm gonna keep come back to value. Like, how look to help more people before you look to help yourself. I would do that sooner. How can you help more people before looking to help yourself? Like, set someone else's table before you set yours.
Oh, I love you, Mason. You're strong, baby. I love that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, Mason, if our viewers wanted to reach out to you, how could they reach you?
Yeah, everything on social media. Instagram. It's at the THEE DJ Finesse. That's my IG. That's on my TikTok as well. You can go to my website. I've got either finesseyourlifestyle.com, or my new coaching website is it'syourbreakthrough.com. Because again, it's your breakthrough. It's not my breakthrough. Those are the two websites you can go through. One is encompassing everything, which is the Finesse Your Lifestyle. The coaching website is it'syourbreakthrough.com. And again, even Facebook is Mason Santos. So those three
All
things.
right. So, thank you, my love. And some Blazers and Heroes, thank you, thank you, thank you for spending this time with us today. Remember, no matter what you're facing, the light within is stronger than the darkness around you. Keep shining, keep rising, and keep believing in the miracle of your own journey. Because here, we laugh together, we cry together, and most importantly, we grow together.
Mm.
Please hear this clearly. Your story matters, your healing matters, and you owe so much matter. I also want to personally invite you guys to join me in a free masterclass I will be offering January 30th at 8:30 p.m. It's going to be called Faith in Action: The Solution Driven Life, and I will provide links as to where you're going to be able to register in the future. And uh, and for anybody that's been impacted by DJ Finesse, uh, make sure uh, you go ahead and go to his sites. And uh, so, some Blazers and Heroes, if this episode blessed you, please like, subscribe, and share this message. Comment and tell us what lesson in your life is becoming your purpose. And you will find free healing resources in my website, jeremy'sunityflight.com. And you all have a great, amazing evening. Until next time, keep blazing bright. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you.